Get all of that, Linux is too complicated and limiting talk out of here. The real problem is modern Linux is too boring. Modern Linux has lost all of the fun little Easter eggs. Where did they go? What happened to all of these dumb little things that don't really matter to your general computing experience, but are just fun things to show your friends, fun things to get people to use whatever software you're using? Sure, we still have Pac-Man mode in Pac-Man, which is objectively the correct way to use it. But what happened to really dumb fun like the REDNECK language pack in Red Hat Linux, which had some incredible lines, which I'm gonna do a really bad accent for, like, which of these keyboards you got? And changes yes to yup. Stick in your Red Hat CD into that coffee holder on the front. Yup. For some reason, back is still back. You can't get that much swap, Junior. Most you can get is 127 megabytes. Disk-Druid is a tool for petitioning at Mountain. It's probably better than FDisk for most folks, but FDisk might be better for you hippie types. Which one you want? Disk-Druid, FDisk, backup, and my absolute favorite, congratulations, you is done. Take that there floppy out of the drive and press return to reboot. For the latest bug fixings on this software, see this errata at http://www.redhat.com. If and you want to help configure on your machine, see the post-install chapter on the official Red Hat Linux book. Yup. And then done is done. 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 I can't say that without laughing. Now, if you didn't already know about this, you're probably really confused right now, and rightfully so. This was a real language in a real version of Red Hat Linux that was really distributed by Red Hat back in 1998 with Red Hat Linux 5.1 Manhattan. Sadly, it's not a full language pack, a full locale that'll work in every application. It only works properly inside of the installer. And it would be completely reasonable if you still think what I'm saying is complete nonsense and you don't believe me. There were people asking about this back in 2013. Flashback, installing Red Hat in 1998 and selecting the Red Hat language, and even going further back to 2003. Red Hat REDNECK language. I know that Red Hat hasn't used the REDNECK language for a while now, but does anyone know if you can still get it? But maybe you still think that this is just an elaborate joke that's been going on for like 20 or so years. So, here is Red Hat 5.1 running in a virtual machine. Ignore the French, I'm gonna say. I see entree there, I'm guessing it's French. This, I think, also says French. It's very difficult to get ISOs from back at this time period. Let's go and run it, and when we get in here, it'll let us go and select a language. And we're gonna have, normal language options as well. Like English, Czech, French, German, Norwegian. REDNECK. It's real. So let's go and just pick, where's the US key? Can I just go U and it jumps down? Is that not a thing at this point? Okay. I'm gonna jump ahead, and would you look at that? It's absolutely real. It is really weird, but it definitely existed. But you guys know what we do here. We have to ask the question. Who and why? Who made this, and why does it exist? Does it have any practical purpose, or was it just made as a really old joke? Now, to my surprise, it actually did have a purpose, not in actually supporting a REDNECK language, but in supporting the rest of the translation system. So from what I've dug up, 5.1 seems to be the last version to include the REDNECK language. It's kind of unclear if it was or wasn't in older versions, but it seems like it was. It's just that finding ISOs for like 5.0 or anything else like that is basically impossible. The only reason I have 5.1 is 5.1 is what I could find, and I don't see any reports of it existing any later. I do see some reports of it being gone by 5.2, so luckily we have this version. But there was actually an explanation about the REDNECK language in the Red Hat Linux 5.1 manual. It was actually explained by Red Hat. So then, the REDNECK language entry represents a dialect of American English spoken by Red Hat Software's Donnie Barnes, and was used as a test case during the addition of internationalization support to the installation program. It is included solely for entertainment value, and the most important thing, to illustrate how difficult it is actually talking to Donnie. It seemed like back then, Red Hat was definitely having, quite a bit of fun with it. So this language support was never intended to be, and never was, a serious language option. It was basically here to test that the internationalization actually worked. Because sure, you could go and try it with a language that is completely different from English, like Czech for example, but if you don't know your internationalization software actually works, testing that is going to be a lot harder. So test it with something that's basically English anyway, so then you can understand where things might be going wrong. Other projects have used things like Pig Latin before, and various other dialects of English, just to see what's gonna happen and make sure everything's actually working before trying something a little bit more serious. And since the test worked, let's just keep it in the release and see what people say. Now, I've seen reports, but I can't actually find the ISO of 5.2, including Klingon. I really wish I could actually find that, or at least find some screenshots. People have talked about the REDNECK version for years now. There's a screenshot of every single screen. But the Klingon version, I can't find anything on besides the fact that it supposedly exists. If you have a 5.2 ISO lying around, a 5.2 CD, please let me know. I would absolutely love to have it. Honestly, I have no idea why I can't find 5.2. Finding 5.1 took me like 5 or so minutes. Yes, it was in French, but it still was 5.1 and it was working. Now, you're probably also wondering, why was it removed? Was it just a joke to stick around for one version, or was there another reason? Well, they probably would have kept it around longer if it was a well-designed joke. The problem, it kind of broke the installed system due to an incomplete locale definition. That's one reason we removed it. It was en_r and en redneck, which is a totally bogus locale. These days, you'd get all sorts of things yelling about that. Basically, it didn't work. If you used it outside the installer, bad things would happen. So if you actually tried to use it, yeah, good luck having a properly working system. So, to make sure that they didn't get reports saying, hey, I used the REDNECK language and things didn't work, easy to just get rid of it and not worry about it. Now, I'm not going to look at all of them, but over on the 9sys website, it used to have a massive collection of every single page. That website is basically gone, but luckily, we have the Wayback Machine, and there is a lot of stuff in here that I'll leave linked in the description down below if you want to go and check it out for yourself. But before then, let's have a look. Firing up CD-ROM. Mountain flapped. Invalid argument. Junior, I can't be mounting no CD on device/dev/HD. That's really hard to say in the accent. Installation path. You want to install fresh or upgrade something that was Red Hat Linux 2.0 and greater. Install, upgrade. You got any SCSI stuff? Nope. Back up. Oh, we saw this one before. Your partitioning table on device HDA is all hosed up. To get new partitions on this new one, you gotta initialize it, causing everything in this drive to be lost. everything I said, initialize, skip it. Bad petition table. And this just keeps going on and on and on and on. I highly recommend you come and check all of this out for yourself. It is an absolute joy to read. But sadly, the fun times of the 90s are all behind us, and we don't have any really dumb things like this anymore. Maybe there's something hidden somewhere around the place, but most of it, it looks unprofessional. It doesn't look like a serious distro, so it's no longer here. If you know of anything that has still stuck around and is worth looking at, please do let me know. I would absolutely love to know. But I guess we do have things like Ubuntu and AmongOS, so it's not entirely bad. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Did you know about Redneck Red Hat? That is really difficult to say. Say it 3 times fast, see how that goes. Or are you finding out just like I am? I would love to know. Also, how bad was my accent on a scale of 1 to 10? You can pick the good and the bad side. I'm gonna say somewhere around, bad. That's going to be it for me. So if you liked the video, go and like the video. And if you really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon, Scribe, Silly Bearer Pay, linked down below. That's going to be it for me. And yeah, brother.